You know, sometimes I always think, like, what am I going to stream next time? Because I know I'm doing today, but, like, what am I going to do for my next stream? So I put on some video game music as part of, you know, the waiting for people to show up and get Twitch notifications that I'm live. And then, like, it never fails. Like, the music I'm listening to, I'm thinking, man, I gotta play that game again. And now I really want to play Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. But other than that, what is up, everybody? Hello. Welcome back. Pardon me, welcome back to the stream as I burp uncontrollably. And put a Dr. Nick hi, everybody, into the chat. So if it's your first time here, hello. If it's not, welcome back. So today, 2 games up, possibly 3. We'll see how things go. It's a very casual day. First one I'm going to be doing is Mario 64, and I did this probably about, I want to say, over a month ago, maybe a month or 2. And what it is trying to talk and do stuff at the same time and failing horribly. Okay, so what it is basically it's like an improv speed run of sorts. I go through, and the goal is to see how many stars you can pick up in Mario 64 within a 30-minute time limit. I first saw Lucha Jim try this, and I thought it was really cool, so I tried it myself. And I got 14 stars on my first time ever doing it. So 14 stars in 30 minutes, not too bad, not too shabby. So the goal for today is hopefully 15. I have not been practicing, but I did fire up some emulators earlier to try to see which one I can get best looking. I'm going to be using Project 64 for the Mario 64 part. Unfortunately, it's not compatible with, like, Pilotwings 64 still crashes on Project 64. They've never updated it past the point. So I'll have to switch over to RetroArch for that. So I plan on doing Mario 64 30 minutes. I'm going to do the Japanese ROM version because that one doesn't really get a whole lot of play in like from what I've seen, it's always the American version. Then I'm going to relax and play some Mario 64 because I really enjoy not Mario 64, but Pilotwings 64. Everything has to be 64 because that's just the way that it was. So as you can see, my Project 64 screen. Let's also get... Where is my live split? Here we go. There we go. Bottom corner. Perfect. All right. So let's fire out the Japanese version.
It's me, Mario!
Oh great, whenever I click outside the window it stops it. Okay, looks pretty good. Now Project 64, one of the things I definitely like about it is how everything looks. I mean, it's not original graphics, I know it's being updated. It's not how it used to look, but the options for the shading are really nice. I would love for RetroArch to be able to do this. And it's not close yet with the cores they have, and I'm hoping that they'll get one soon that can do it. So, you might be wondering to yourself while I'm continuing to get set up here, what is the difference between the American version and the Japanese version? Mostly minor cosmetic changes, really. Let me just lower down my headset volume. There we go, it's a little better. So the big thing is voice samples. Even though Charles Martinet, I believe is the man's name who did Mario, they actually added more lines in for the American version. Like right here, Mario in the USA version says, hello. Nothing in the Japanese version. So different sound cues are missing. Red coins, when you get more, like in the American version, you get red coins, like each one goes up, the tone goes higher and higher. In the Japanese version, it stays the same. It's the same sound over and over again. It doesn't pitch up. Pardon me. There's also a different portrait for the sunken ship level. Excuse me again, I'm sorry, I'm just burping and belching. I had to eat something real fast before I took my meds so I don't get sick. But yeah, so like the water level, Well, the sunken ship doesn't have the portrait of the ship on the front. It's just like 3 bubbles. So I remember playing the Japanese version when I got it like a couple months before it came out in the States. And I got my hands on it and I'm like, okay, what is this? And we jump inside and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, this is still probably, this is tied for my favorite Mario game ever. It's a tie between this and Super Mario World for best Mario game in my opinion. A lot of people say Mario Brothers 3, but I love, just absolutely adore Mario 64 and Super Mario World. So let's see if this is going to be a problem with me trying to do... Yeah, so I'm going to lose like a second. Because unfortunately, let's see if there's an option to change this so that way when I click off the screen it stays running. Let's see. Let's not hide advanced settings. I'll be starting in just a moment. I know I've been yammering a lot right now, but there's always a couple things I want to talk about. So, pause emulation when window is not active. Take that off. There we go. All right, much better. Okay, sweet. So, brand new save file. We're gonna go through and do this. I've seen some people start the timer when they do this challenge as soon as they pick the file. I don't want to do that. I want to basically, like what I did last time, was I start the timer as soon as I start moving my character. That's when I start the timer. Because it's just a long introduction otherwise. Oh yeah, also, Princess Peach, in the start of when she gives her speech at the start of the game, there's no audio. She doesn't have a voiceover artist for it. That's another thing they added in the American version. So we'll be starting the timer once I start able to move. So let's just get this going, pick the file. And I do have this game complete in box as well. Like I said, it's just... I don't know, the Nintendo 64, I didn't really like it a whole lot, to be honest, like, for the later games. But Mario 64, like, the games that, that I own really stuck out and stayed with me. Like, Mario 64 was such a game changer. You know, suddenly have, like, a realistic 3D, and I say realistic, I mean, like, it's not like a rotational bitmap type deal. It's like you have 3D movement games, mind-blowing. Alright. Alright, so here we go. 30-minute challenge. Try to see how many stars I can get. Previous record was 14. Shooting for 15. In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no. I guess maybe it was the American version that did it. No cue music there either. That was another... Yeah, normally, like, Lakitu has music coming up, but nothing there. Oops. Not off to a good start. Already hitting walls. And I am using my Nintendo 64 controller, the $10 Kiwitawa controller I got off eBay. Or not eBay, but Amazon. Oh yeah, also, like, the American version, he has, like, more of a dog sound. Feels like woof woof, instead of, like, this whoop up. Oh no. Here we go. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, it's different sound effects all over. It's just, like, really kind of interesting changes, because the American version came out 3 months after this. The Nintendo 64 launched in June in Japan, and then came out in the States in September, very late September, like September 30th, I believe. Yeah, so I saw Lucha Jim try this originally, which is what made me want to do this myself. And he was like playing without analog controls on. It's like, dude, you need to have analog controls for this game. It is required. I mean, especially like when you're trying to do like delicate maneuvers. I love these cannonballs. They're actually not 3D, they're 2D pictures. I remember the first time I found this warp, I was like, oh, let's stand here see if I get crushed by a cannonball. And I'm like, what the world? Also, the first time I played this game, I kept trying to throw him off the cliff. And he's down. Yeah, when we first got this game, my brother, like, I always love to tell the story because it's so impressive to me, was, we literally spent 30 minutes running around outside the castle. For some reason, the, cutting off the timer. Don't know why. Yeah, but we spent like 30 minutes running around outside the castle, just like totally stunned by what we were able to do. Whoa, camera! That's like the first time I've ever seriously had a problem with this game's camera. A lot of people complain about it now, but I mean, at the time it was revolutionary. No one had had like a 3D camera before, so this game was a pioneer in that aspect. And people kind of play it now, like later, and they're like, oh, the camera's bad, it's uncontrollable, I can't use it. I'm like, it's not too bad. I mean, it does the best with what it can. There was a ROM hack of this game called, what was it, Mario 74, I think it was? And somebody made it there. So basically, it's like a total conversion, if you will. And it's like that game had a completely busted control like camera on it. I couldn't see anything. It was ridiculous. So maybe they fixed it since then, but I just don't know. Let me try shrinking down. Yeah, I gotta move it down. For whatever reason... Come on, dude, come on up. Yeah, so for whatever reason, OBS is deciding to give priority to the Project 64 emulation window versus having the overlay for my live split. So the choices we had for playing, for getting games, renting the games there when we first got it was, let's see, it was Mario 64, Pilotwings 64, and Shogi, which is like a chess game. Alright, which one is this? I think this is the ice level? Yep. Yeah, Shogi is like it's a Japanese chess game. So, like, even in Japan, like, nobody was playing that game. They're like, let's see, 2 awesome games or a boring chess game on our brand new system which does 3D. I wonder, which one would you do? Here's your kid, lady. Oops. Come on, get it. Mario, why are you bouncing off the... Okay, he's bouncing off the star. I've never seen that happen. I was literally bouncing off the star. That is crazy. Crouch, backflip, thank you. I didn't know it was even possible to miss that one up.
Here we go!
For me. I always see Benedict Cumberbatch play this game just so he has to say the word penguin because he can't say it. Oh no, at the last second. Oh man, that's brutal. Okay. Let's give it one more quick try.
Mamma mia!
Can't believe I boffed it at the last second. Well, actually, I can't believe it. I mean, it's me, but... I've actually had the penguin push me into that shortcut, which will fail you, because I mean, like when you get done with the level, he's like, "Hey, you can't cheat. That's not fair." It's like you pushed me into that shortcut. Right about here is where I need to be, I think. Oh, right, just right next to it. Pretty close.
Here we go!
Okay, I think there's another quick one I could get in here. Mario, I need you to stand up, buddy. Alright, just do something. There should be... Here we go. You. Oh, I went the wrong way. I remember why I have problems with this. I get a double jump going. There we go. There we go. Not my smoothest, but that's alright. So let's get out of this place. Let's go upstairs. Let's do the secret slide levels. I'm gonna do it. That was weird. Just kind of like didn't want to read the analog inputs real quick. So I'm going to do this one the normal way, the full race way, and then I'm going to do the shortcut, hopefully. Because if you do the shortcut first, you could potentially screw yourself out getting the other star. It becomes a lot harder, because you have to do a faster time than your first lap, like with your first attempt at this, to get you the star. so now I'm going to do this again, but then I'm going to take the shortcut. Hopefully get the shortcut. Fingers crossed. Okay, I can go fight Bowser if I want to. Don't need to, because I discovered last time that fighting Bowser does not give you a star. I was thinking it did. I was like, well, let's end it on Bowser up there. Mario, get in the damn window. There we go. So, okay, this will be a cool one. Alright, let's see if I can get this right now. Hit the wall. It did not flip me around. If you hit the wall, it's... Well, wait a minute. That might be an American thing only. I might screw myself here. Let's try it one more time. It might be an American thing only now that I stop to think about it. Because you hit the wall, it's supposed to spin you around, which is crucial in order to take the shortcut. So let's see if it... Okay, there we go. And that is the shortcut. I remember the first time I figured that out, I was like, holy crap, I am amazing! And then, like, I see, like, other people doing it, like, Nintendo submissions, and I'm like, you're getting, like, 11 seconds. It's the morgue! Good to see you, buddy. Doing my little 30-minute Mario challenge, see how many stars I can get in 30 minutes. And look, it's a different picture. I'm playing the Japanese version of the game, because this is the first version I played of this. And not a lot of people play it, but there's some interesting differences, like... Pay attention to the chime here. So the red star, so the red coins, normally pitch goes up. It stays the same in the Japanese version. It was an addition they made for the American version release. There's just like a lot of small little changes in this game. They're interesting, because it came out, like the American version came out 3 months after the Japanese version released. So even like, so they had like 2 months, just about, probably, maybe a month and a half before going gold and having all the carts made for an American release to make all these last-second changes. Like, okay, let's give Peach, pardon me, a voice actor for opening dialogue. Let's change the background picture for the water level. Instead of being 3 bubbles, let's make it a pirate ship. You know, and like, let's raise up the tone for the red coins. All sorts of crazy little stuff. Yeah, like how many moons can you get in 30 minutes? That'd be interesting.
Here we go!
My game just has moons out the wazoo. Whatever a wazoo is. So I am playing this game on... I'm not using RetroArch for this. I'm using Project 64. It's not like accurate graphics, as you can see. It looks a lot better than it ever did. But unfortunately, RetroArch, whatever core they're using, doesn't have the ability to make it look this nice just yet. But when I play Pilotwings 64, I'll be switching over to RetroArch because it crashes on this version of of this emulator, Project 64. Punch kick, it's all in the mind. Whoa! Okay, that would have been bad. In the beta versions, like when you slide down a flagpole like that, like right here, your pants used to catch on fire and you'd run around. But then they realized that that'd be kind of dumb because when you're on fire, you take damage, so why would you slide up the flagpole in order to take damage? So they realized we should change that. Ooh, it threw me off. Oh, that's interesting. I just saw it right now. It's very brief. You can see the level of detail changing. I'm just gonna sacrifice time. Look at Mario real quick. He's in low polygon mode here. This is the distance. when, like, what they do to save on processing power from old games is, or older games, they still do it now, actually, is use lower poly counts or lower model, and then when you get closer, use the more intensive version, so it looks better. Something I didn't really notice that Mario 64 does, but apparently does. Alright. Wonder if I can do this. Mario, I need you to behave, please. Thank you. Okay. Yes, got it.
Here we go!
What I used to do was get in the cannon and shoot myself at it, which is a lot of fun. Because if you miss, you just go flying right into the wild blue. Mario! Now, there is a way you can actually clip through and get that star that's in the wall. I've seen it done on a task, but I don't know how to, if it's actually a possible, if it's like humanly possible to do. Come on, Mario. It's like, get off the corner, please. Earlier, Morg, I don't know if you're here or not, but I was on the ice level, and you know, I gave the baby penguin back to the mother. I kept trying to jump on the star, and the star kept pushing me off. Like, it wouldn't detect it. Like, it wasn't jumping through. It was, like, literally hitboxing me out of the way. It's like, nope. I was like, I've never seen that happen, ever, in this game. Dude, come on. There we go. So last time I did this, I got a total of 14 stars. Looks like I'm gonna beat that this time, which is awesome. Go. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but Live Split is not behaving tonight. It is, it's like the game is actually covering it up. It's not going on top. It's not overlaying on top for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Here we go!
Okay. Alright, so what stars can I get here real quick? Ah, yes, I can do this one. Shoot up to the island in the sky. Robert Bomb. Yes, Robert Bomb. Papa Bomb. Look, do you ever call them Baba Bombs? Like, what they're supposed to be? I just call them bombs. It's like, you don't need the extra syllables involved. Maybe I'm just a heathen by not calling them by their full name. Alright, got 15. Beat my record from last time. With 7.5 minutes almost just left. Trying to remember what else is fast starts. Let's go to the water level. Haven't been there yet. For me. Also, another mechanic that totally breaks this game is healing in water. You know, all you have to do is just go down and, you know, touch. Like, you can just have your feet touching, like, the surface, and you'll get you'll get your health restored. So there wasn't a separate air gauge. Now I can remember the order of the pillars. Yeah, awesome. Did a preemptive. Okay, so I think it's... Got it first time. Oh, that's outstanding, yeah. Air is based on your health. That's brutal. There's actually, they came out with a new Toe Jam and Earl game. I haven't played it, though. I forgot what it's called, but it just came out. Okay, no bomb here. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like I wasn't really into the original Toe Jam and Earl game, but I know a lot of people enjoy it. Like I said, we watched like Beat play it that one time. She seemed to really enjoy it. Okay. How do I get this guy out of here? I guess he's not going to. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. I see her play it a lot of times. Like, I see that notification for her on in Discord that she's playing, but she's just, I guess she's retired from streaming from now. I don't know if, you know, because it's something I don't want to bug her with, you know. It's like, hey, what's going on? Why are you not streaming? Because it's like, it's a personal choice, but I do miss her streaming. Okay, I got nothing this level, not sure where to go. Exit out. Seems to really like that game, but I just really wish that she'd come back to streaming. I do miss her. I do miss hanging out with her. It was a lot of fun. Snowman doesn't have his head there. Okay. Go for the 8 coins, I guess. It starts getting like harder when you get to a certain amount. Like you're thinking like, okay, what can I get quickly? And there's like nothing left really at this point. It's all like red coins pretty much. Yeah, this is actually a red coin level, so. Yes, I really should, shouldn't I? Yes. Please, I'm so lonely. I have nobody else to stalk. I mean, hang out with. Also, good to see you, T. Wallace. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, GBM streaming is like extremely rare. Where's this work to? Up top. Okay. Okay, it's like, why am I not sliding? I don't have enough time to get it anyway, but... So it looks like 16's gonna be my record. So it's 2 more than last time. Yes, with the hashtag going, bring back bee. People are gonna be like, yes, we should save the honeybees. Like, no, 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 bring back our friend YKB to streaming and speedrunning, please. Interesting, you can't jump off that wall. Okay, Mario, do the damn... It's like, what the hell? He's like not doing his reverse jump. There we go. Okay, so you can, but it's extremely narrow timing. Alright, well I have hit the 30-minute limit, so... So the new record is 16 stars and 30 minutes for myself. Oh yeah, I mean, we can't really falter for that aspect of now, can we, Mort? No, but I check in on her like about every month or so. I send her a message to say, hey, how you doing? You know, here's what's going on with me. Hope you're well. And she usually responds back, doing fine. It's like, okay, well, she's still alive. You know, let her know we're still here. I'm still around. You haven't seen a good moose skip since you left. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of different things, but... Oh well, I mean, everyone has their reasons for streaming or not streaming, and some people find it just, like, super stressful. You know, it's like, I didn't like streaming when I first started as well. I mean, I actually gave it up for probably about 1.5 years, and then I came across YKB's stream, and I went, oh, wait, it's like, she's having fun, she's enjoying it, it's like, maybe I should try these things, and lo and behold, I still enjoy it myself now. So, you know, it's people have different reasons for wanting to stream or not stream. Some people it's just really stressful. It's a big time commitment. Like, you got to set things up. Even I have to set it up. Like, it takes me about a good 25-30 minutes to get my stream up and going, because I got to think, okay, you know, I'm playing this tonight. What intro music am I going to do? I got to get my microphone set up, plug in the controllers, change around my stuff for my pre-stream so you can see what music's playing. It's a lot of small stuff there too, and you also have to take that time out to do it as well. And so, like, if you want to have kind of go out and have a social life, that could impede it as well. But I mean, I know that she does. You know, she's active in her community type deal, which is great. But if you're a shut-in like me, it's like, not really. So it's like I'm not gonna be doing much. So let me write this down real quick. Let's see. Mario, put this down at the bottom. Mario 64 30-minute challenge. Record. Let's see. PB is 16 stars. All right. Speaking of like Mickey Mania, I'd love Wolves Black to get into it. He's kind of burned out on it as well, so I haven't seen him streaming for a while. It seems like a lot of people that used to watch stream and just don't really do it anymore. No, I can tell she's not on the drugs. Because I'm on the drugs. I'm on that marijuana. Oh, yes. It's like, I'm not a cop. But do you know where you kids know where I can buy some Mary Jane? I hear she's a cool lady to hang around. You know what? I'm kind of curious. I wonder if this will run a hack I have. Yeah, I'm not cool enough to have any bots though.
Mario. Press start to play.
So this part always goes ridiculously fast. Okay, Project 64, now it looks a little better. This is a mod that lets you play Mario 64 at 60 frames per second. It looks so much nicer, because the original game runs 30, so... But in certain circumstances, it just doesn't work right. I've never tried it in Project 64, so I just wanted to see what it looked like. It's not bad. Oh no! Plop. Yeah. Okay, so let's end this real quick, and we're gonna switch over to RetroArch because the game I want to play does not work in Project 64. It crashes. I'll have you know I own this game 2 times. I have the American and Japanese versions. Thank you very much. And yes, piracy. Nah, but basically, the person just hacked it so it runs 60 frames per second, but not everything works quite right. Like when you saw the Mario head pop in, like it was just like going double speed. There was also, for a while, there was a way on, like it was a version of the Dolphin emulator that let you play Mario Sunshine at 60 frames per second as well. And that was really cool, but then they took it down. The people who make Dolphin, they're like, well, it could potentially damage a machine somehow. It's like, no, it won't. But they pulled it for whatever reason. But it was really cool to see that game running 60 frames per second. I still hate it, but it was neat to see. All right, so yes, Space Pirates are riot. Oh god, no, I don't think I'll be playing Space Pirates today, unfortunately. As much as a crowd pleaser that game is. Alright, 64. Pilotwings. And Windows way too big. True, Skies of Arcadia is actually really good. I played that on the Dreamcast, but I never played the GameCube port of it. I don't know if they made any changes or not to it. For me. Viking game with the guys you have to lead through a level? Don't know. Is this like a newer game or... Oh, Lost Vikings, okay. So I'm trying to think like what games have Vikings. The only one I could think of was a Xbox 360 game called Vikings Battle for Asgard, which my friend Peter sent to me many years ago. He just loved that game. He's like, Ken, you gotta play this game, and sent it to me. I'm like, okay, cool. Free game. I'm not gonna turn that down. Okay. That's good to hear, because, I mean, one thing I detest the most is when you have a port of a game and they don't add anything new. Or they do, and then they charge you ridiculously extra money. Nintendo. Nintendo. We're gonna add Funky Kong, and now charge $30 more, and take down the digital version for the Wii U version, so you can't buy it anymore, so you have to buy the Switch. Alright, so I'm probably gonna get my butt kicked, so let's try Hang Glider just to... Let's get warmed up to this first. Yes, Blizzard before they became the jerk Blizzards. So, something that really cracked me up when I first got the Japanese version of this game is I was just starting to learn Japanese at the time. But, so... her name is not Robin in the Japanese version. It's Hooters, as in large breasts. Because, as you can tell, she's rather polygony, like, she's very triangular but very well endowed, so, yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, Funky Kong is funky, he's cool, but is he worth another, like, I think it was $20 extra? And then Nintendo took down the Wii U digital version, so you could not buy it. You had to buy their Switch version. That's scummy. And after they got backlash from it, they restored the original Wii U version onto the eStore. Yeah, I've heard people say they don't like this game. I'm like, why don't you like fun? No, I just find it really relaxing. It's a good challenge. And so this is like one of the first two. It literally was the first of two Nintendo 64 games we played and bought, because when it launched here in the States, there was only 2 games to buy. There was this or Mario 64. Okay, it's like, thought I had the button for the flare and I was wrong. Here he comes, and he misses the target. Alright. It gave me a perfect score? What? No, I must have had a perfect score before. Yeah, I did. I was like, there's no way in heck I'm getting 100 points for missing the target like that. Alright, let's try Rocket Belt. But this is like one of my favorite just kind of chill and fly around games. It's not too stressful. Well, to start with, I mean, the later levels definitely do get challenging, though. It's got great music, too. Okay, I am pretty sure right now Retro Arch is messing up. I do not have controls. Let's see. Controls. Load remap. There we go. It's like, why am I not able to go and do the things you need to do? It's like, oh, that explains it. Control. Yep. Okay. yeah, 100 points. Is that an improvement? Yeah, it is. Cool. If it's an improvement over your old score, it gives you the little graphics flyby. So I must have had like 99 or 98, something like that before. Congratulations! Which is better, this game or the Super Nintendo version? Oh, that's another tricky one, because now I stopped to think about it. One of the first games I had for my Super Nintendo was Pilotwings, actually. And got 64, it was Pilotwings 64. Oh man, I really don't know, to tell you the truth. They're pretty much just about tied, in my opinion. I would have to say, though, overall, I would probably, if I had to choose, I would say Pilotwings 64 is the better one, in my opinion, just by a hair. Just because you have the 3D graphics, you have the like the ability to go wherever you want. The Super Nintendo version, you're just locked, you know, because of technological limitations, you're locked to that small area. Whereas, like, the later levels here, like, I'm about to hit up, I think Class B right now is, like, where you start flying around the United States. You don't have to do the objectives. You can literally fly around and explore, which I've done before in the gyrocopter, which I've learned, like, there's a gas station, I think it's down near Louisiana. You can actually, like, fly low by it, and it'll refuel your gyrocopter. Same thing for anything that needs fuel, like the rocket bell or a gyrocopter, you can fly by it lowly, and it'll refill you so you can fly around more. They put little Easter eggs in, like, for that reason. So I would have to say, just because you can explore more, I would give it to the 64 version. I do also have the, Pilotwings Resort for the 3DS. I haven't really gotten much into that. It seemed kind of alright. 3D was pretty good on it, but it just seemed kind of meh. In my opinion, it was like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was kind of like, alright. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, I had to open a new drink. Okay, so let's get to the new stuff. I think hit the wrong button. Yes, I did. Class B. Okay, Crescent Island, 3 tests to go, need at least 129 points total. Use thermal current to ascend to 400 meters and land on the landing point on top of the mountain. You must reach 400 meters to receive time points. Take photos of the fountain in front of the hotel and the whale swimming in the Gulf, then land on the landing point. Ooh, that one's tricky. Land on the landing point in exactly 3 minutes. Timing accuracy is important. Yeah, this one's really rough. Alright, so let's try this one. So, like, RetroArch has really good Nintendo 64 cores, which makes everything look really nice. I mean, it's like, it doesn't look really nice, but I mean, it plays just about everything for Nintendo 64, which is awesome. And it's like the most stable, most compatible one I've seen. Like Project 64 that I was using earlier to play Mario, it makes games look really pretty, but a lot of stuff just doesn't work correctly. I mean, like Pilotwings 64 crashes. You can do one event, and then it just completely just, you know, fails out on you. It doesn't do, like, you can't continue. It literally locks up and gives you a crash icon. So if you're looking for, like, pretty much the ability to play, like, every single Nintendo 64 game, RetroArch is the way to do it. And if you're interested in RetroArch or setting it up on your PC, I do have a guide I wrote out on how to do it, and also the files you'll need as well, like the BIOSes and so forth. So you can play Sega Saturn games, PlayStation, and so forth. So if you're interested in it and want that, just let me know. I'll drop a link into the chat to my G drive so you can get it set up yourself. Okay. Oh no. Not the best landing. So terrible. It gave me 81 points tonight, like 67 points. Whatever. I will take it. This one I remember being tricky because the angle of the fountain is like pretty close to where you need to go. Like there's the whale, there's the fountain, and there's the landing point, like right next to it. Crap, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this. I've seen people play it, but like I've never really played a Pokemon game before, to be honest. I know it's like basically like you're like it's kind of like a rail shooter, almost like you're in this minecart or whatever, and you're going around just taking pictures of Pokemon. For Professor Oak, who seems really kind of pervy on it, it's like make sure you get one where they're bending over and look have that naughty look in their eye. It's like, what? Crap. Ah. Terrible. So that's why I hate this one, because it's just really, really tricky to do. Let's look at the photos. Oh, emulation's so nice, because these photos load up so fast. So fast. That's a pretty good photo. 23 points now. Alright, let's try the other test. Land on the landing spot in exactly 3 minutes. Timing accuracy is important. Map. There's a landing point. Okay, so I can jump off. Yeah, it's gonna face me this direction. Fly over here, hit that thermals. Alright. Well, yeah, I mean, you throw, like, the little Pokeballs at them to get their attention, I think. Yep, this is Pilotwings 64. Being played on the RetroArch. It's one of my personal favorites. It's like one of the first games I got for the Japanese Nintendo 64, and then when it came out in the States, the American one. It's one of my just favorite kind of relaxing go-to games. I've always enjoyed this. It does have a pretty interesting difficulty spike though, like when you get later into the game, like we get to the third levels where I'm on right now. They do increase in challenge. Really? Huh. Yep, I'm playing at RetroArch, which I found to be pretty much the best way to play 64 games if you're going to emulate them. Project 64, the games look really nice, but it has major compatibility problems. Like this game, like Pilotwings 64 will let you play one level, like I'm playing right now, and then it crashes. Per me. So, while I found with RetroArch, it may not look the prettiest. I mean, it looks kind of close to the actual graphics of the system itself, but you know, it's full-blown compatibility. I have not seen a 64 game that has not loaded yet. Oh my gosh, why did it... I don't think I was going too fast. Let's see the replay. I gotta say, all those flips are really impressive. Yeah, but Shuttleworth, I'd definitely say, like I said, if you can emulate it, you know, like if you have RetroArch, definitely just get yourself the ROM for it. I'm using the Mupen 64 GL core. I just saw that they added a new one in. OpenGL. I haven't seen really major improvements on it just yet for the graphics wise, but it looks really good. But if you don't have it on your computer at all, if you're interested, let me know. I will throw in a link in the chat so you can actually set it up yourself. I have wrote up like a little how-to guide at the latest version. So let's see, options is where I've been wanting to go. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't, like, the 4:3 resolution doesn't increase it in the window. It actually makes it, like, bigger on the screen to the point where it covers up everything, and that doesn't work. Bilinear filtering, standard, and that's fine. Crop mode, texture filtering, sharp, enhancement. Let's try this. We'll see if we make it look prettier. And made everything look blurrier. That's great. Front flips a blur. Oh wow, yeah, That is taking me back to the day. I remember when Ultra HLE dropped, like hit the internet. That was mind blowing. Because I mean, the 64 was still out at the time. I mean, they were making games for it still, and then all of a sudden you had that was like the first emulator I remember that was like, oh crap! It's like you can actually play the games on your computer that they're selling in the store. And I remember setting it up for Zelda. Like I had an old Pentium 2. I had a Pentium 1 computer. It was a 200 megahertz with 32 megabytes of RAM, not gigabytes, megabytes of RAM with a 3 gig hard drive that the salesperson told us you'll never fill that up. It's so much space, you'll never run out of hard drive space. And yeah, but Ultra HLE came out. I got my hands on the Zelda Ocarina of Time ROM that just probably, I think the game had come out like 3 months before. And I had it running like at the time, like at, was it 124 by 800 resolution, whatever it was that you could do on the computer monitors at the time, and it looked amazing. So I had my friends would come over, like, and like I'd be back in my computer room playing the stuff, and they walk in and they see like me playing Zelda Ocarina of Time on my computer, and their jaw would just drop like, oh my god, how are you doing this? It's like you're stuck playing it on your computer. I mean, at the time, you know, like now we have Nintendo 64, not Nintendo 64, but we have Xbox 360 controllers, everything's standardized, but back then you had to have you'd have a Sidewinder controller, and it would sometimes work, sometimes didn't. Yeah, so try playing Mario 64 on a keyboard. It was quite the challenge. Alright, so it looks like everything's just going to be looking kind of ugly, but it works at least. Yep, I had a Voodoo 2 as well. I love telling people like the old computer specs. It cracks me up because the Voodoo 2, the one I had, was a 12 megabyte video card. Right now on my computer I have a 4 gigabyte video card. It's outdated, and back at the time, like 12 megabytes, like holy crap, that's gigantic. It's like, oh yeah, you should see me play Quake 2 on this thing. Quake 2, Half-Life, those were amazing ways to show off my Voodoo 2 back in the day. But emulation, when it came out, it's like, the 90s were a really impressive time for video games in general. I mean, you had so much innovation, you had everything progressing so quickly. Decades started with 2D graphics, and then ended in 3D. You know, you went from starting off with the like tail end of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and ending with the Dreamcast. I mean, that was like in 10 years' time, such a gigantic leap. And then you also had emulators start up too, because I've told this story multiple times on my stream. Like when emulators started becoming viable, like around 97, 98 or so, it just blew me away, because I mean, all of a sudden I had access to all these video games for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis on my computer. It's like all I had to do was just take the time to download on my 56K modem. You know, there's like 2 megabyte game, and you're looking at like a 30-minute download just about. But it was mind-blowing to suddenly go, like 2 years ago, having to go to a store to buy a game or rent it, and then you can just download and play it on your computer. Now, granted, the emulation was still new. It didn't work half the time. I mean, there was glitches and stuff. But it was still amazing as a gamer to have everything, of this entire library of all these video games at your fingertips. And it's like, I always wanted to have a Neo Geo, and then all of a sudden I had, like through Neo Rage and Neo Rage X, I had a Neo Geo on my computer. I could play Metal Slug at home. And, you know, many years later, I actually bought a Neo Geo arcade cabinet. I have a 2-slot MVS. But I mean, it was a way for me to play games on my computer at home. It was impressive. T1, ooh, you had money back then. T1 connections, I remember people seeing like, you know, max download speeds of like 100 kilobytes per second if they had a really good connection. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And now we just kind of laugh at that. Alright, much better. Ah, okay, because I remember, like, T1 lines were, like, stupidly expensive. They were, like, a couple hundred a month, if that. I am 1 point away from silver. Prideful gold, so silver, and shameful bronze. I remember, like, emulation, like Chrono Trigger, in particular. I mean, I had the card at the time. I own it now still, of course, on my Super Nintendo, but playing through Chrono Trigger on my PC and ZSNES, actually, I think it was, yeah, ZSNES was the one we used. That tended to be the best at the time. SNES 9X just didn't catch up on its features for quite some time, and it had too much lag, input lag for my tastes. But at the time, they hadn't figured out how to do transparencies yet. So Chrono Trigger, you get to the future, pardon me, you got all this kind of like smoke layer going on. It was like, boom, all you could see was smoke. You couldn't see your character, you couldn't move anywhere. You were stuck. It's like, oh my god, no. And like you could try to turn off that layer, but I think the layer was also tied into like the floor as well, so then you could just see your characters, but you still couldn't tell where you're going. And it'd be about another like month or so later that they finally figured out how to do transparencies and put out a new version of the emulator. And I just remember that kind of stuck with me just because things were not perfect for quite some time. Even now, they're still working on trying to get things emulated correctly for Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and so forth. Kind of cracks me up that these old systems take these huge like requirements to do, and we still haven't perfected them. I hit the wrong button. Okay, Everfrost Island. Crash into every balloon, then land on the landing point. You must hit every balloon to receive time points. Fly through every ring to land on the landing point. Clearing certain rings will make time rings appear. Crash in the bouncing green ball and push it to the goal area. Ooh, I remember this one being tricky. Oh, I'm off to a great start. Let's try it again, shall we? I forgot that in the later levels, wind is actually a factor. There we go. Balloon is split. Oh, that's perfect. Really, game? Oh, this one's brutal. It does. I mean, that was the big selling point. There's actually one level that's kind of laid out of the United States. And that's like the biggest level there is, so it was pretty cool like to see all that. Whereas like the Super Nintendo version of Pilotwings, it was like really dependent upon like you were just stuck in this small little area. You didn't have a lot of freedom of movement and where you could go. And the wind is just really pushing me. And hitboxes are really annoying me too. Alright, let's quit this one. go. Ah, thanks for letting me know. I forgot to change it. Alright. Flying high. Wink. There we go, updated. Thanks for letting me know. I forgot about that. Okay, and back to slowly flying around. See, green usually means, yeah, they're below you, I think. It's like, where is it? Wind's pushing me a little bit. Apparently I missed some rings. Oh well. No biggie. Oh, I remember this one being really aggravating. Game music not that great? That's a lie. This has the best game music ever. Okay, where did my balloon go? There it is. Man, this balloon is trolling me. Alright, not too bad. That means I gotta do the balloon one again. Let's do the right one. Ugh, I hate this level. Now my actual cart, I have like golds on every single one. I actually maxed out the entire score. So at one point in time I did do it. Hitboxes are wonky on this one. At least they don't go bouncing around, you know? Like, they're just going up and down at least. That's more tolerable. Oh, baby, look at that, like, 15 frames per second. It is, but I don't have one that would be able to do it. My capture card is an Elgato HD60S, which is a HDMI cable, or HDMI input only. Whoa, wind is blowing me all over the place. So, actually I have a RetroTink 2X ordered. Ooh, sweet, got 100. But, so basically that's lets you do, like, you can use component or composite cable or S-video, plug it in and it doubles up the line, so it takes it from 240p to 480p, makes games look a lot better, and then it has an HDMI out. So I bought one of those, and it had all sorts of audio crackling and popping issues, and the sound would cut out and back in. It was terrible. And I got an exchange for it, and the exchange unit I got was even worse. And then finally Mike Chi, the guy who makes the RetroTink 2X, finally said, yeah, there's a problem with the audio chips. So the new versions, new batches of it making going out on March 15th will have a new audio chip, fixes all those problems. So I am on a list to get those next Friday, hopefully. Then I can actually start streaming my retro consoles using the actual consoles themselves, because I would love to actually stream using my actual Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Nintendo 64, things of that nature. It'd be a lot better. As it stands right now, I'm actually using a Kiwi Tata, which is a like $10 knockoff USB Nintendo 64 controller I bought on Amazon. And it you know, for what it's worth, it's holding up so far. I wouldn't try playing like Mario Party on it. I mean, the analog stick's a little kind of cheap on it, but it's working so far. Yeah, so I'm dying to get it because, I mean, I also want to do Sega Saturn streams as well. Because there's certain games that I own for my Sega Saturn that just do not work in emulation. Like, there was one of the games I played last time was called Deep Fear, which is like a Resident Evil game, but it's set underneath water, so you have to worry about air management too. So like, you go into a room where there's no air going in there, and it's like you have like 20 seconds before you pass out type deal. Or start losing health at least. So, you know, in emulator, it starts like, you get this like loud screech just out of nowhere. You'd be walking around and then just screeching out of nowhere, like your ears are bleeding. It's like, oh, this isn't working well. So, really want to do, like I said, basically just so I can play all my old original stuff. The actual consoles themselves, and they look really, really good. Give me a second here. I will show you an example of what it looks like. Let's do video manager. So I made like videos like showing off like, hey, it's like, it's not just me, it's just popping and crackling, and you know, it's not my doing, but go. Yeah. Here we go. So this is... We'll just jump over here, because I did like a sound test, you can just hear it popping and cracking, but we'll get it to an actual time code. 2:15, here we go. That shows like gameplay. So this was actually recorded through the crappy, defective RetroTink 2X, but it does show, like, I was using HD Retrovision cables for these, and it looks really, really great. I mean, I've had, like, when I was doing it before and showing it off, people were like, wow, what emulator is this? It's like, it's actually my Model 2. You can get some amazing results out of it. But like I said, it's like the audio chips are just garbage. Yay! Little States, which is basically just United States, of course. I think this is the one here where you run around and you have to shoot the giant Mecha Hawk. Fly through every ring, land on the runway. Receive no time points if you miss a ring. Ooh. 10 missile targets, destroy them. Yes, here we go. This can be fun or frustrating. So you have to hit Mecha Hawk with 5 missiles, and he dodges them, so... So it looks like it'd be simple. It's actually pretty... It can get pretty tricky. He'll dodge it too, so... He'll see a missile coming and you move out of the way. So he intentionally walked that way so he knew I couldn't cut the angle. I said this part is... Either it goes really well, or it'll just aggravate you to, like, hell and back. It's like, here, the most bizarre thing I've found about this entire thing, like with retro consoles, is it turns out that a lot of them supported RGB, which is basically, it's like high definition before high definition existed, really. I mean, you can get amazing pictures from it, but it's like, we just didn't have, like, a lot of TVs, especially in the United States, didn't support it. I mean, Europe and stuff like that supported it, Japan and so forth, they had, like, SCART, and so, like, people were getting amazing pictures, but here in the States, we're stuck on, like, component cables. I think components, the one thing about, like, yellow, red, white. You know, it just looked like garbage, and then we're kind of finding, like, oh yeah, you could actually get a really good high-definition picture out of your old gaming consoles. I forgot he throws rocks at you. He throws rocks at you. Let's get another go. Yeah, so you can actually get pretty good capture. So I was using the HD Retrovision cables, which are composite cables. I think it's... I always get composite and component mixed up, which is two of them. This is like, you know, the red, green, blue, red, white cables. And for the Sega Genesis, it makes an amazing difference for video quality. I also have them for the Super Nintendo, and it doesn't look that much different. But the Genesis is like night and day. Same thing for like the Sega Saturn as well. It's like you can get an amazing picture out of it too. using those cables. So they're like 60 bucks. And if your TV supports it, I definitely recommend picking them up. The place you can buy them for them, and it sounds like a commercial, it's not, is Castlemania Games. Crawling up the hill for. I think they have them in stock right now because HD Retrovision is the company that makes them. And I say company in very loose terms because those people don't know how to run a business to save their life. They're like, hey, we like, you know, your cables are in super high demand. People want to give you money. You could be making a ton of money off of these cables. Why don't you just mass produce them in China or wherever and get it, you know, get them going? And they're like, well, we don't want to mass produce them because it'd take a lot of time to do. We have to trust somebody else to do it instead of us doing it on our spare times when we feel like it. And so, like, you have, like, this huge shortage, like, while they wait for them to get off their butts and make cables. And for a while they said, like, we're going to stop making cables because we want to focus on making cables for Dreamcast instead and researching that. It's like, why don't you hire people to do this? It's like, I know it's like, make sense and all that, but it's just crazy. It's like how they stay in business, so to speak. But the thing with the Retro Tink 2X that really bugged me, it's $100, which is like cheaper, like about $150 cheaper than a frame, like a OSSC. And that's another thing that it's basically one person pretty much making them. And then like about another $300 cheaper than a Framemeister, because they don't make those anymore, so the prices on that have gone through the roof. But you see all these reviews of the Retro Tink 2X on YouTube, because they got them for free. It's like, here, review this, here you go. And they don't disclose the fact that there's problems. Like, there's build problems with it. Like, if you go to plug... I've only seen one YouTuber bring it up, like in his review. It's like, when you push your connectors in, it's like you can feel it and see it, like, start to move. It's like, so you gotta be really careful plugging it in there, because it's not very sturdy. And no one brought up the audio problem whatsoever. The channel My Life in Gaming said, hey, there's an overmodulation problem, like for Mario 64, so when you get a really loud, like, wahoo type deal, you might hear a speaker crackle. They didn't bring up at all the constant audio popping, the clicks, the audio falling out, nothing. No one brought that up, and it's a major, major problem to the point where the guy who makes this said, okay, I have to use a brand new audio chip because I'm getting all these things coming back to me. People are pissed. Yeah, I mean, they started as hobbyists, but if you want to have a business, you know, if you're going to make that your business, and they say they do, you need to expand. You need to think like, okay, how can I make these more mass-produced? Because people want these cables. I mean, it's like huge. I remember when I first tried to get retro, like HD Retrovision cables, I had to wait 7 months for them to make it. And then when I got the Genesis one, and I bought the Sega Saturn adapter for it, so I can use one cable to plug into both systems. And then I wanted to buy Super Nintendo cables. I had to wait another year for them to make them. Instead of this, like I said, all they had to do is say, hey, contact any manufacturing plant either here or overseas and say, we need to make, like, you know, 2,000, 3,000 run here, because they can sell them no problem. And they're just like, no, we don't want to do that at all. We just want to keep it in-house and make sure our quality's there. And it's the most backwards thing ever. It's like they don't want to make money. It's like Nintendo. It's like people wanted these Super Nintendo Classics and Nintendo Classics. I mean, if they had made enough to meet the demand for it, they could have rolled in a crap ton of them. But instead, they only released a total of about 2 million units for each. And then they finally said, like, oh, we'll release out another 500,000 for the Super Nintendo Classics. It's like if they had done a full production run of it, they could have easily sold 10, 12 million units for each one for the Nintendo and Super Nintendo Classics. They just refused to meet the demand for it. Which is what Nintendo has always done. When the Super Nintendo came out, the Super Famicom in Japan, this is like... They get sued for doing this now. They had 1 million pre-orders for Japan. So they knew that they needed to have at least a minimum 1 million units ready to go for the Super Famicom launch. They had them. They only released out 100,000 units. So they knew that they had 1 million in pre-orders. They had all the systems ready to go. The estimates are around 2 million or so that they had completed, like, you know, sitting in boxes ready to go. And they only released out 100,000 per month. Think back to the Switch. High demand, people are wanting it here. In Japan, you literally had to win the lottery in order to buy the system. People were going and entering a lottery system to be drawn out so they have a chance to just even buy it, because they had artificial shortages. It's insane stuff like that that Nintendo continues to keep doing, and how they don't get sued to oblivion, no idea. They're like, well, we get, like, you know, we get free press and advertising because we get on the news because everyone wants to buy it and we don't have enough. It's like, okay, but you could be making a crap ton of money. It's like, just give the people what they want and you will be even more successful. It's not hard, having run a business before myself. It's like, you give what people want and they will buy it and continue, and you make money and the cycle continues on. You become prosperous. Oh yes, this one can get tricky. Get some really cool flights though. I mean, this goes like right into a valley, just about. A couple of these little parts here outside, be flying underneath a bridge. Like right here. Yeah. Woohoo! Remember that one always being super close. Let's see, where's the ring? There it is. It's like, oh, I can't see it. There goes the space shuttle. Look out, everybody! Oh, that landing is rough. I'm gonna get killed on landing points. Yeah, that landing was horrible. Destroy 10 missile targets. Okay. Goodbye, everybody! I bounced off the ground, really? Okay. That was something that happened. I was saying, oh no, did the emulator crash? No. Tariff stuff? Nope. Have not heard anything about tariffs, unfortunately. So you have to fill me in more about that. I have no idea about that, so... Die! Really? How did that one miss? Yeah, it's different types of steel and so forth. It's not anything that's impacting technology or anything like that. Because I did my externship for a company that actually deals with magnetics and steel and so forth, and they were concerned about it, but then it turned out they didn't really have to be because it didn't really impact them. Oh gosh, this level sucks. Yeah, it's only for like certain things though. It's not like all across the board on 100% of the products. The biggest one is mostly on steel production. Really got to figure out like a flight plan for this. You have to be like dead set with your rockets too, and you're also fighting against wind because it's blowing you around. I don't know if that fixes the missile flight though. Can't hit that one. Probably not on this pass, at least. Nope, can't get that one either. Wow, Hollywood, look out! Take that! Surprised they haven't made a Pilotwings movie yet, you know? Like, turning everything into movies these days. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog. If you haven't seen that picture, oh. They finally released a picture of what he looks like. In a live-action movie. A Sonic the Hedgehog. Things that should not be, and yet are. Magic pixel that. Oh, sweet. I can't believe I hit that. There it is. Like, where is this last target? That's the runway. At a weird angle. Okay. Yeah, look at this crosswind trying to land. It's insane. Alright, finally got that one done. Is it enough to move on? Yes, silver. I will take it. Okay, making progress. Last couple levels now. Ow. But first, let's have some fun. Cannonball! Okay, and... always entertaining. Like, my brother and I had written in the coordinates for this. Like, okay, yeah, it'll be like this every time, and it varies. Hello, Mario. Meet Wario. I knew it. Too low. Okay, I gotta aim up much higher. Too high. But better, at least. 14 over 9 points, but had to waste that one shot to turn Mario to Wario. You can also do it in the gyrocopter as well. We hit it with a missile, but... it's like I saw it, like the Mount Rushmore is actually in the Hawk level, where I had to run around and shoot him 5 times. Not too bad, a little off on the power. Should hopefully be a bullseye, we'll see. Yeah! Alright. It's like, come on. Alright, got a wind going against me. Plop. And probably overshot. Yep. Close to it. Oh, you haven't seen the picture, I take it. This is not a joke. This is not a spoof or anything. That is legitimate. What he's going to look like in the live-action movie. I usually don't like linking the Polygon, but they have more pictures. Sonic won't hurt you. Oh yes, this one. Pain in the butt. You gotta shoot really low. Not that low though. Will I hit the water? No, just hit the land, just short. Almost bullseye, okay. Yeah, it's computer rendered, but like think like the Garfield movie from a couple of years back, where like everybody was live action and Garfield was computer generated. So you're going to have live action people. Think like screw that here. Think like the most recent, they're like Detective Pikachu. Think like that. So you're having a mix of live action and computer generated, but that's what Sonic the Hedgehog is going to look like. Ooh, fly in the thermal currents and ascend as high as you can, then land on the landing point. Currents will just disappear after 4 minutes. Fly through 8 rings at 15, land a landing point. Must fly through 8 rings to receive time points. Take photos of Missy the monster, the passenger boat, and the space shuttle, and land on the landing point. But which cartoon? Because there was actually 2 cartoons back in the day. Or are we talking like Sonic Boom and newer? Sonic Boom is actually one of those things that I thought was just going to be entirely stupid, and then like people were like, dude, no, you gotta watch an episode or 2 of this. It's actually pretty good. And it surprisingly was. It was kind of funny. I was like, wow, this is not what I expected at all. So I remember for the cartoon, there was actually 2 different cartoon versions back in the 90s. There's one with, what's the guy's name? Jaleel White, the guy who played Urkel in Family Matters. He did Sonic in one of them. And he had another cartoon. I don't know who exactly did that one. Yeah, so if it was on antenna, and we're talking like rabbit ears, not the digital, because I have no idea how old you are, so, but you mentioned Ultra HLE, so I'm going to suppose you're probably in your 30s at least, minimum. So it's probably one of the 90s versions. Like I said, there turned out that there was actually like 2 Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, but like vastly like different scenarios. Like one of them was like they're like freedom fighters trying to like save the world. It's kind of like, it was actually kind of a dark show. And you had one that was like a lot more lighthearted, which wasn't as popular. Don't know if I'll be able to hit this thermal or not. Alright, just barely caught it. Oh yeah, Glider's a lot of fun. Don't tell me what to do. Not bad, alright. Let's try the other one real quick. Let's see what they got for Rocket Belt. Fly through cavern as quickly as possible. Oh, I remember this one being tricky. Crash into bouncing green ball, push it to the goal area, then land on the floating pads in order. Must land on the landing point. Every pad receive 5 points. This one I remember being tricky but fun. Yeah, like this is like the final ones to do, so difficulty definitely gets amped up. Oh, okay. Nope. Oh well. Gyrocopter. Fly through as many rings as you can, land on the runway. Destroy 20 out of 30 balloons. And Mecha Hawkeye's returned. Okay. I'm actually gonna switch it up real quick. I'm gonna play a different game for a little bit. Not a whole lot longer, just a little bit more. Close content. I did close it. Close. There we go. Alright. What is the American version? Yeah, let's stop and think. Thinking hurts. Mischief Makers. Once again, gigantic over-resolution for whatever reason. Let's... this is... now I know why it's a different core. Okay, and... resolution, lower that down. There we go. All right, Keiko, you want to go out? There you go. This game is a lot of fun. I think it's kind of like, definitely a kind of hidden gem almost. Don't hear a lot of people talking about it. It's a treasure game, as you just seen. But it's a 2D platforming game on the Nintendo 64. Called Mischief Makers in the United States and I believe Europe. And Japanese version is Yuki Yuki Troublemakers, which I own complete in box, and the box work for that is amazing, the Japanese version. Here we go. So this was like the box art for United States and Europe. And then you have, this is actually a picture of the soundtrack, but the box is exactly the same. Like I said, I own this complete in box. And then you have the Japanese version. I just love the box art for the Japanese version a lot better. A lot more action-packed. Now, a big difference in the American and Japanese versions is that the Japanese version, all the clancers, like the people on the planet you run into, actually tell you things. They'll tell you, like, different hints, like things to look out for, what they're up to, things of that nature. And then for the American European versions, they cut it out. I don't know why. I guess they didn't feel like translating it, which is weird, because they translated the rest of this game. So I have no idea why they decided to make that change. Pardon me. Didn't take in the command. Hold on a second. Not this. Controls. Load remap. If you're using a Nintendo 60, not Nintendo 64, damn. If you're using a Xbox 360 controller, then it's not a problem. But if you are, like, you know, using a weird controller like the 64 controller I'm using right now with a USB plug-in, RetroArch doesn't recognize, like, it mixes A and B up and it doesn't, like, activate A at all. It's like, doesn't exist. So I had to go through and figure out the mapping for it and save it, and sometimes you have to reload it yourself to get it to work. And now I have it. There we go. Miss Hint, if you give me 10, I'll teach you something good. Well, my hint, shake. Shake. And the game's basic techniques are grab, shake, and throw. You can even catch a laser or an enemy's bullet. Try grabbing everything. If you're grabbing something, try shaking to see what happens. No, not the baby! This game also uses the D-pad. So actually, this game is why I bought the Nintendo 64 controller to play on PC, just so I can play this particular game. And I am very out of practice. These guys are just gonna keep hounding me, I guess. Like, so try playing this game like on a Xbox 360 control pad. It's just like not gonna happen. It is very hard to do. Like, the C buttons are a necessity pretty much. Now, the only alternative I can think of is if you bought one of those new Sega Saturn controllers that came out, I think 8-Bit Duo, or 8-Bit Duo, whatever their name is. They came out with, oh, I want these so bad, Sega Genesis 6-button controller and Sega Saturn controllers as well, that both work on the actual systems, and you can also buy a version that has a USB. So I'd love to have both of them, one for my Sega Saturn and one for the PC, so I can play emulated a lot better with it. Although I should probably try using this 64 pad instead. Just thinking out loud. Like, maybe bait one out here? Nope. Pre-programmed, okay. Okay, can't... Doesn't seem to be able to grab one like that. Oh, come on, game. Oh, this is gonna be frustrating. Can't remember exactly what I'm supposed to be doing in this level. Now there's like gold, emeralds, or gems like that in every single level, and the more of them you have, the longer, the better ending you get. Basically, like you get a natural ending. It's like you get an ending, but like how much of it you get to see depends on how many of those you get. Whew, okay, made it through. Hidden Shrine.
Shake, shake. Yeah. Yeah. Shake, shake.
Oh. It's like maybe I can hit the dash button and just grab that gold gem. Fell in.
Shake, shake. Yeah. Shake, shake. Yeah.
Ah, crud. Overshot. There, as long as I get it. Oh, wow. No invincibility frames there. Let's get clobbered. Alright. wonder how much this game is going for now online. Let's see, let's take a look real quick, just out of pure curiosity. eBay. Mischief makers. N64. I'm gonna guess probably 70. No, actually, it's pretty, wow, very reasonable price. Remember for a while this game really shot up. It's around 20 bucks. So if you have a Nintendo 64, looking for a really good platformer game, give this one a go. Oh. Okay, nothing up there. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Alright, well I hate to say it, but I've pretty much reached the end of what I can do for today. My back is starting to murder me, so with that... we've reached the end of the stream for today, so thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Always have fun to have company, because sometimes while I've had some amazing streams by myself, you know, it's always fun to have other people showing up. So thanks a lot for Shuttleword for dropping by, saying hello. Also T Wallace and the Morgue as well. You guys are always awesome. So I do stream usually every other day at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know when that is, just type it into Google and it will tell you for wherever it is that you are in the world. Once again, it's 8:30 p.m. EST or Eastern Standard Time. I do stream lots of different things, retro, newer stuff. Next time I stream, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. Depending on how I feel, I might stream tomorrow, but if I don't, it'll be Saturday. But if I do stream, I do post it up on my Twitter, which is Wursel555. You don't have to follow anything, but if you feel like coming back the next time and watching me stream again, I usually post up a couple hours ahead of time what I'll be streaming and when, or if I need to cancel, if something comes up, because I have back problems, you know, if pain gets to be too much and I don't feel like streaming or my health goes down, whatever, I usually post up there, I'll cancel it. So I have a couple of ideas for what I could stream next time. I'm just not sure exactly what I want to do. Thinking that I do like fighting games, so Dong Dong Never Dies is always highly entertaining to watch. Then there's also Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. I haven't played that forever. Adventures of Batman and Robin on Genesis. Lots of different options. I'm also open to suggestions too, so if you ever have any ideas for things I can stream If you look down below in the stream window, I have a link to my video game collect page so you can see exactly what games I own. And also keep in mind I do have a lot of emulators, so I can play a lot of things that way too. But definitely thanks everybody for checking out here, and like I said, I might be back tomorrow. If not, it'll be Saturday. Keep an eye on Twitter there, I'll let you know there. So thanks for hanging out, and let's see, is anybody streaming right now that would be good? You can tune in on... Yeah, we'll drop by Mr. Metavan AJ's page here. I'll host him in just a second. So thanks for hanging out, and hopefully see you guys next time.